Hey guys, welcome back. In the previous video, we saw how we can connect to localhost Elastic using official Elastic client REST API. In this video, we're going to see how we can connect to a cloud version of Elastic, which would need authentication keys, right? So let's go to documentation. And if we look for not Elastic Cloud, just Elastic documentation, welcome to. In fact, we want Elastic Java Client documentation. So let's click on Elastic Java Client documentation. Getting started. What we are interested in is in Java low-level REST API client, common configuration, other authentication methods, and this is the code that we need to connect to cloud using authentication. So let's go back, Windows 1, and let's create a method, public static return REST client, get REST client for Elastic Cloud, and this is the code that we need. And in fact, let's put the headers first. Then let's put the builder. We don't need to return the builder, so I can just say set default headers dot build, and we can return the client itself. Okay, now what we need is we need the value of localhost, port, and scheme. You might think that you can take this value from the cloud instance, like what you see here. If I copy these values, so like in the past I tried with this, it does not work with this, so don't even bother. The way you can get these values is if we go back to Elastic settings, and if you go to integrations, in integrations we have to search for API, and here you can provide the name of an index. So let's say if I want to call it zero project. Okay, so let's say search zero, I don't know, maybe version 1. Okay, create index, and with this it will give you the syntax which basically provides you the name of the server, the name of the port, the name of the index. So if I go back, Windows 1, let's make a copy of this. So we already changed from HTTP to HTTPS. This is the name of the server that we have to copy, and of course don't provide it in the code. Typically you will save it as a secret in one of your secret files, but I've already taken session on secrets in another video, so I don't want to make this video longer by putting it into secrets file. So for now I'll just put it here, and then later we can refactor it to make it more cleaner. Okay, and if we go back, it also says that you have to provide authorization as API key and with authentication content type application JSON. So maybe let's create, let's go back and Windows 1, and let's add another header over here. So let's put a comma, let's do a Control D, now Control Z. Let's first put it in one line, Control D, so we don't need a comma here, and we need to accept Windows 2, accept application JSON. So let's change this, and if we go back, the authorization key is given as API key, so not as bearer token. So let's change this as well. And now we need the authentication key. So if I go back and manage API keys, let's create a new key. So let's call it as zero key. Okay, generate API key. Let's copy this, Windows 1, and normally you will not put it inside the code, but as I said, Just for this session, I'm putting it here, but you should save all these keys and all these details in a secrets file. With this, let's say if I try to run the test on cloud, ideally you should have a factory pattern, but for now I will just call this client. So let's first maybe also extract this. So let's extract a method called get rest client for localhost. I'll remove this, and instead of creating a factory pattern, for now I will just call this method here. So not for localhost but for elastic cloud. And let's say if I run the code, let's see what happens. Okay, so we got an error and it said it was not able to create an index because this key does not have authentication to create this particular index. So let's go back, and if you see, the name of the index that you provided was search01. So we have to copy this index and let's give this as the name of the index. And what you'll also see is, like in cloud version, it always adds this prefix search dash. So whatever name you provide, it should always have this search dash prefix before it. So if I run again, okay, the test have passed. And if I look for search01 in Elastic, let's go to Elastic. And if I go to discover, okay, I want to find a data view called explore one matching index. And now you can see, I have been able to publish results from my test framework into a cloud version of Elastic, right? So with this, I think I would stop this particular session because otherwise it will become too long. And in the next video, I can show that rather than changing it by yourself in the code, we could create a factory pattern where based on a choice that we can provide, the right client could be picked for the host, where we want to publish our test results. So that's it for now. With this, I hope you learned how to publish results on a cloud version of Elastic, and in the next video we will refactor it and make it a little bit more better. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.